Recording in progress.
Going live. And we are live. Let me just, hold on now, I'm just check. Okay. Okay, hey everyone, if you're watching, just give us a couple of seconds for us to just make sure that everything technical is up and running.
And we are live?
Yes, we are live. Oh, cool. Okay, we are live. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Zyen. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and welcome to our podcast. So this is Coach Ooi, who is here to share with us his wonderful expertise for those of you who are curious about fat loss. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Okay, before we get started, of course, let's get to know ourselves, like who we are, who the presenters are. So my name is Zyen. I am a physics teacher as well as a dance teacher, fitness enthusiast. Love fitness very much, so that's why I do connect with some of the fitness experts in the industry. I won't be doing all the talking tonight. We will be hearing from the expert, in fact, who's Coach Ooi. So hi, Coach Ooi. Can we get to know you?
Hello, this is Chun Yi. Or you can most people call me Ooi. I'm a strength and conditioning specialist, also a sports science graduate, and a precision nutrition level 1 nutrition coach. Or simply, you can say I'm someone that really like what we call that a fitness nerd. Yes, something like that.
So how many years have you been in the industry, Chun Yi?
Let's say if we count by the sense informally, it's like 12 years. Or more than that. Wait, I'm sorry. I think I always get the years wrong because the MCO messed up my brain about how old am I this year.
Oh dear.
So it's actually 12 to 13 years. 12 to 13 years. I actually always mess up.
So is it 12 or 13 years? You don't know. You lost track.
12 to 13. I think after 10 is something like, I would just say maybe I will remember again after it crossed 20 years.
Okay. By the way, in case anyone's wondering why I keep looking there, I'm just making sure. I've got a second screen here just to make sure that the YouTube live stream is working. So that's why I'm not looking at the camera. I'm just checking whether things are going okay on the YouTube channel. Yeah, so don't mean to be rude. Okay, so yeah, so that's Chun Yi. Very passionate about fitness, very passionate about helping his clients, very passionate about making sure that people go about gaining, fitness, and we don't talk about weight loss. We want to talk more about about fitness and more specifically fat loss, right? I believe that is what the better aim is. Correct? Is that right, Chun Yi? Fat loss, yeah.
Yeah, because when we talk about weight loss, right? When we talk about weight loss, it's actually our weight is actually comprised by our muscle, our body fat, our skeletal, and actually the big part of it is actually our body water. Which means if you today just talking about weight loss, right? You just get a laxative, you can actually lose 2-3 kilos in one day, just purely from water weight. So this is actually why when we talk about weight loss, it's inaccurate in a sense that what we really want to lose it is actually fat weight, fat loss. It's not really other things that we want to lose it, like water, like muscle, something like that.
Wait, sorry, I checked earlier, but the green screen is not working properly anymore. So I'm sorry to viewers who are wondering what is this monstrosity here. I actually tested earlier, but suddenly just before the Zoom went live, the green screen kind of crashed. Sorry about that. Okay, no, let's stop talking about this stupid green screen. Yes, let's focus on the topic at hand. So yes, we're talking about fat loss, and today's topic is actually we're going to focus more on strength training versus cardio, right? It's like a lot of people, I believe, prefer to do cardio, thinking that's more effective for fat loss. That's what a lot of people believe. Is that right? Okay. So from your experience,
today I'm actually just going to talk to you point to point of a benefit benefit of both exercise, and actually in the end maybe everyone will get a good grasp of why cardio work this way, why cardio work the way that actually we thought they're supposed to be, or strength training, whether really the strength training actually make you look bigger, bulkier, something like that. Actually, we're just talking on here. Just a disclaimer, today's topic, right, is actually, I will talk it in the sense of everyone is not going to make a single change to the diet.
Okay.
Because when we talk about fat loss, right, when there's a changes of diet, it going to the result is going to vary again. So today, whenever we talk about the comparison between strength training versus cardio, we're going to assume that you're going through the same diet, just different modality of training. So this is what we really do. So maybe let me share my screen first.
Okay.
So I prepare.
Okay, come. Yeah. So we
see,
won't address diet today at
so
all.
strength training versus cardio.
Okay.
We're not going to touch any diet. We're not going to touch anything about diet today.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So strength training versus cardio, which is more effective for fat loss? So let's go to the first one. So to be honest, if you're looking for calories burned per hour, which many of us these days can easily track even with our handphone, cardio is actually the clear winner. Why? Because cardio normally when we talk about cardio, it's like cycling, it's like running, walking. It's actually use a large amount of our body muscle for a long period of time. So definitely you're going to burn more. Okay. So because when strength training, sometimes we just do segmental, like just do for one arm, of today just do your leg. So comparing cardio and what we call strength training, cardio is always burning more unless you are doing like what we call it HIIT-ish of strength training. That is a topic of another day. Otherwise, let's say we compare the traditional lifting weight in the gym, or just doing weight machine in the gym versus you just go for a jogging in the park. Cardio does in fact burn more calories per hour. Okay. And second part that I think many people concern is, even when we actually look at the fat utilization, because everyone saying we want to burn fat, we want to burn fat. When we talk about burning of fat, okay, fat utilization is actually higher in cardio too, and you saw me put an asterisk star there, but provided you're actually maintaining around 45% to 70% of VO2 max. VO2 max here is actually refer to our maximum oxygen consumption in a minute, which means our utilization of the oxygen. So let's say if you run very, very fast, you sprint, it's actually not cardio, it's high intensity training.
Oh.
Okay, it's high intensity training. So which means if you are running, let's say like you are going to sprint, like you've been chased by a dog, you are not necessarily using more fat already. You have to be like steady state, something like I will say maybe let's say if you are easier way to track is something like we call it our heartbeat is around 70% of a maximum heart rate. So this day actually most people can track it easily via all the wearable technology or just a handphone. But of course the accuracy will depends on brand to brand. But fat utilization is always higher whenever you work in this zone. So this is actually asterisk because this also and then this is the first thing you have to be in this zone. Second is, however, right, because while the fat utilization is higher, it doesn't mean you purely just burn fat. Let's say if today I'm actually going to what we call that. I run in the zone for 1 hour. But I sprint for 2 hours. So by percentage, I'm burning more I'm burning more fat calories in the sprinting, the running zone. But when we talk about total calories, it depends again on the intensity. Let's say if I'm burning 1,000 calories, but only 20% of fat, or I might actually burning 2,000 calories, but 15% of the fat is using. So I still burn more fat. So if you have to run in, maybe I think I get Zyen confused already. So maybe Zyen can ask me some question to really put it back properly. Because I think I'm very bad in providing an example for this.
Okay.
It's like if you do more works if you do more work, even though the percentage you're burning is lesser for fat, but the total fat that you burn in the end of the day is still higher. It's like the net gain by percentage is lesser, but the net result is bigger.
Actually, yeah, there's a lot of things I don't quite understand. So I'm just gonna ask you, one by one by one, lah. Okay. So first of all, okay, because you say that fat utilization is higher in cardio, but you said that there's what do you call, depends on the exercise, right? So what then is classified as cardio and what is not? Because I think a lot of people always assume running is cardio, but you said running is not cardio, so that's rather confusing.
Cardio is actually an exercise that actually utilize your almost full body all the large group full body muscle, but not in a very strenuous way for a long period of time. That's sustainable for a long period of time. And normally we classify as cardio whenever you can sustain the same movement for more than 20 minutes.
So
while strength training is something like you can't really do it for too long. Like you try to do squat do 20 minutes, you can't, right? 1 minute also, like for weight training, all those things, resistance training is like we call it like below 1 minute, 60 seconds is the intensity. You cannot keep it. You cannot keep the intensity for longer period.
But then isn't running cardio then? Because you mentioned earlier running is not, like, depends on what kind of running. You also said
steady state jogging, but if sprinting is no longer cardio. If it is sprinting, like running away from a dog, it's no longer cardio. It would be like high intensity training.
Okay. So is there also a minimum? Okay. So that means so like if you talk about athletics, then someone who goes for like a long run, like 5 km and all that, that's cardio. But if someone is going for a 100-meter sprint, that's not cardio.
All right. Yeah. So just now I think I used a wrong example. It's like cardio is something you can sustain for long, while other will be classified on other things. But today we use strength training. Like other will be actually classified anaerobic training, which means you can't really do it continuously. Cardio is something you can do it continuously for a long period. So we call it cardio.
Okay.
I think maybe this way is better. Just now also like sorry.
Cardio
is something you can do it continuously, because weight training, right? Even though you train for 1 hour, you have rest time. You rest, then you do it again, then you rest, you do it again.
Okay. So let's talk about since your slide is on cardio, so let's talk about cardio then. So when you say that when fat utilization is higher in cardio, that means you're comparing against strength training, is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
So let's say if maybe you ask is better. Yeah.
So then if you say about 40, so let's say only this, when you say like out of this 45 to 70% of VO2 max, this is a percentage of fat utilization is higher, then what is the rest? If only 45 to 70% is fat, then what are the others that's being utilized?
It will be your blood glycogen, your glycogen in the muscle, and the blood glucose. That's why sometimes we have to all the sport drink you see has sugar. It's a sugar, our blood sugar, our muscle glycogen storage, and then all the energy reserve in our body, carbohydrate, like we call it glycogen storage.
So do you have to clarify because not everyone speaks biology. Yeah. Glycogen is what? What is glycogen? Is it
it's all the carbs that you eat that you store in your body and liver and whatever.
So those are carbs lah. Those are carbohydrate in the form of carbohydrates, not in the form.
Let's say if you compare like in nutrition, it's like carbs. It's like carbs. That's why when you see people run, after run they are flat, right? Because glycogen is stored in our muscle. So after they run, they utilize it, they feel flat. And that's also why after sometimes people when after they run, they will lose weight immediately, almost immediately, but will gain back the next day because they deplete their glycogen storage. Because our body actually will store energy. So it will store in our muscle, it will store as fat. It will store the essential for our daily life in the liver, in our muscle. After that, the extra, they will always go to our fat storage.
The extra goes to the fat storage. Is that right? The extra goes to fat storage. But then, when we exercise, what happens is that the body uses the energy from the blood. from the glycogen and
Glucose, yes.
glucose is sugar, isn't it? So that means it's what
Uh,
you is it what is it means? I mean, is it something like you say the athletes drink the sugar drink, then that's an immediate glucose in the blood. Is so it's a immediate. That means
correct. They want to
whatever we take in.
replenish.
So then the fats, which is already stored in the body, which was supposed to be for reserve, they don't touch. The body doesn't touch until finally
Correct.
no choice. They only use that one lah.
Correct. Our body very stubborn. By the way, our body doesn't like to burn fat. Body doesn't storing fat is actually one of the survival mechanism in our body to protect our body, because fat actually protect our internal organ, regulate our body temperature. So it's actually it don't really like to burn fat, to be honest. So it have to be really until certain point when you exercise, let's say after 20 minutes, then it will slowly tap into your fat storage. That's why in terms of fat utilization percentage is higher in cardio, because for weight training you won't really reach the continuous 20 minutes in weight training.
Okay.
Because you're going to replenish and just use the blood sugar. Like let's say weight training, let's say you maybe lift the weight for 10 times, then you rest. While for running, once you start to run, let's say today you just run with your friend, you're going to finish the whole course, it's maybe like 1 hour. So definitely you're going to utilize more fat.
Okay. So I'm curious to see what else you'd like to say, because now we're like, so cardio is better for burning up fat lah. So that's what in my head now.
So far, it seems like I'm all about cardio.
Yes. Yeah. So
now this is all the trick.
Okay.
So to be honest, let's quick recap before we move on. From isolating, let's say for isolating calories burned per hour during exercise, all the keyword calorie burn per hour during exercise, and fat utilization during exercise is definitely cardio is the clear winner.
Okay.
This is during. However, oh my god, by using however, I'm kind of telling you the answer already. So there's actually a 5 fitness component, by the way. 5 fitness component: cardiovascular endurance, flexibility, muscular strength, muscular endurance, and what else? Body composition, which means how our body look. So we're going to talk from fitness perspective, how both of this kind of training going to affect our body in long run. See, just like I'm talking about during the exercise, cardio is the clear winner during the exercise. But let us see how both type of training impact our body in long run. I'm going to touch other also, because I think it's all interrelated. So beside even though I say fat loss, I'm going to talk more. So for cardiovascular endurance, or what we call stamina, cardio definitely effective, because there's one principle, it's called specific adaptation to imposed demand, or in the lay method, what you do, what you improve lah.
Okay.
Agree or not? What you speak more English, you improve your English. You speak more Japanese, you improve your Japanese. Okay. So if you're doing more cardio, of course you improve more on your stamina, like cardiovascular endurance. And then strength training, actually it make improvement, but it's very small. Because strength training, in the end of the day, you still have to move around, pick up weight, so you still improve your stamina in a very small amount. And in a different way, you still improve, but you can't really beat improving stamina by doing strength training compared to by doing cardio. So cardio again is a clear winner when you're talking about just want to improve how our hearts work. Like let's say for some people, let's say let's say sometimes when we do a work, let's say some people they do a little bit work, they will like heartbeat very fast, right? If they want to like improve this, right, they have to do more cardio. Okay, so because this is actually how our body work. And then come to flexibility, strength training. Let's go to cardio. I would say practically none, because you don't. Even though most people will do some stretching, right? The amount I will doubt. Even some people will do some stretching before I run, right? But it's already no longer what cardio bring. But for flexibility in strength training, yes, because let's say I just use a motion and bicep curl. So when we actually doing weight training, we are moving our muscle, and actually muscle is actually impact how our body move. So if you're doing weight training correctly, it does improve your flexibility. For those people that actually, if you see, many people actually have one myth like muscle bound will make a big person slow. It's actually the reason come from this background is because I saturate a bit because most until recently most people that go into gym are bodybuilder, and these people they actually use a lot of drugs to build a body, and they are actually not fit. To be honest, they are actually not fit. Their muscle is really just for show. Yeah, I hopefully no bodybuilder will come after me afterward, even though I'm stronger than most of them. But this is actually a sad truth. I'm actually going to write a piece about this soon, but not today. So, in terms of flexibility, if you're doing it properly, yes, it does improve your flexibility. But of course, if you really want to totally improve your flexibility, it's always you do like yoga or do stretching. Of course, it's more, again, as I said, it's yes, but small. So, weight loss. Today's main topic, cardio. See, higher in short term. Why? First, cardio is very, very effective in weight loss, because it's also cutting away our body water. As I said just now, our body water comprises more on our body. So, and it does burn fat. But if you see a catch here, it might. Have you seen Zyen? Have you seen all those marathoner? Yes. Super marathoner, elite marathoner that run in Olympic.
Yep.
Do they look very fit or look like they are actually cancer survivor? No offense.
But they're very skinny, they're super skinny. They're very skinny. Very aerodynamic.
And do they normally look older than they are? This is actually because they are actually, I admire their sacrifice for the sport, by the way. But this is how the adaptation changed. While they're actually burning a lot of fats, but because the duration and amount of hour they put in for cardio, some people, if you really use cardio, right, you might actually end up your precious muscle. Why I say precious muscle? Because our muscle will lose while we aging. It's something that we will actually lose eventually, and it's so important. Yet, not only you didn't do anything to reverse it, you actually accelerate the losing of the muscle. So that's why cardio, I would just say, even though it's very high in weight loss, but I would say might not. Okay, so weight loss for strength training is lesser. You will improve. But why is lesser? Because most of the time, right? Well, actually, even though you lost fat weights, most people gain some muscle weight. So that's why from weight loss purpose, strength training, of course, is definitely lesser because the weight might be offset. It's very, very common for someone to join a gym, do weight training, okay, lost 2 inch in the waist, but gain 2 kilo in the body weight because they gain muscle and lost weight, lost fat. So this is actually a common thing in strength training. So this is actually what happened from fitness perspective, how both training impact. If I'm too fast, let me know.
I think can we just pause there? I think that's a very important point that you just said, and I think you need to reiterate the fact you said that when they lost 2 inches at the waist but gained 2 kg. I think that's very important to stress because a lot of people, especially ladies, are so caught up with the idea of losing weight that they don't think about fitness. They just look at the numbers on the scale. When they stand on the scale, they why the number is like not going down? Why is it going? It's like going up instead. And then whereas like you are right. They can lose 2 kg they can lose 2 inches lose 2 inches at the waist, but they gain 2 kg. And why? Because one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that muscle, for the same mass, it weighs more than fat. Like for the same mass, for the same volume. See my English, like the like mass, right? The same mass of muscle and fat. Muscle will always be smaller than fat. Fat, I think, fat actually weighs less than muscle for the same volume. Yeah.
Correct. That's why they will actually look better. And in fact, right, let's say if you're all okay, now this is again very bad, not bad shape. Have you seen a fat people, a very, very obese people that look very soft, right? Like squishy, like Jabba the Hutt. I hopefully my joke is not too outdated. Jabba the Hutt. Hopefully someone knows what's Jabba.
Everyone knows Jabba the Hutt. Everyone knows Star Wars.
And then while we are thinking about someone, and then let's say you're thinking about dense muscle, right? let's say, just to let you know, okay, let's just use Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. The Rock, he have a lot of muscle. Yeah, I like to use The Rock because it's so famous. He's actually, to be honest, his body weight is actually, I think, in obese. It's really, really, if let's say, but because most of his muscle, his body fat is is still very low. It's still very low. And in fact, right, his health parameter is definitely better than even most overweight only person because he's big. It's actually all is muscle weight. So that's why it's many times we call up because we on the weight weight loss. Sometimes it's actually very easy for us to really in order to chase the weight, the skill number, we actually sacrifice our health because some of the product which is very bad in the market that actually claim rapid weight loss, right? They're actually a laxative or they're actually a diuretic. Diuretic that really make you pee, like dehydrate you, and then that's actually what changes that. And then you know very funny, you know. You notice many of these products they like to put 7 days or 14 days. You know why?
Why?
Because it doesn't work after the initial 2 weeks. Because it water weight, it will bounce back. So they always can claim only 7 days or 13 days. They cannot claim like lost weight forever because it won't happen. They actually because our body is very very pandai one. Like I say, our body is very bad. So once you get used to the product, right, it will slowly down regulate again. So you might need more product or stronger product to lose the same amount of weight again or something like that. That's why they always like to use 7 days weight loss plan because 7 days you can lose the water weight without hampering your bodily function. After that, you will stop working. So all those things is actually a very very expensive diuretic. This is actually a little bit sidetrack from the fat loss product. So what we really look is weight loss product. So what we really need to look is actually really like fat loss, like because in the end, like, I think I jump to the next one. Like, come on lah, everyone want weight loss for one simple question. Nobody, no, actually got lah. Most people want to look good. Agree or not? Most people exercise, want to look good, feel good. To be honest, feel good, look good. So physical appearance changes. Strength training, definitely better. Definitely better. Cardio, as we actually talked just now. You look at the top at Olympic, no disrespect to very top Olympic athletes, marathoner, and you look at the sprinter. Unfortunately, I forget to Google and post it here. You can see their photo. Which one? I mean, for men maybe perhaps. Which one do you want to look like? Because and then physical appearance changes. I think something that I didn't put it here, and then just want to say that very better, right? Cardio, when you do it for too long, right, it's actually produce a very very strong stress hormone to our body, cortisol, which actually break down your muscle and promote fat storage. Because our body still need fat to survive. So until to a certain point, right, your body actually will start storing fat despite you still doing the exercise. That's why you see those weekend runner, they all not all sorry, some of them still have tummy. Despite they're very skinny, they can run like very long, they still have tummy because their body still tend to keep the fat. So it will only works, cardio will only works until certain extent, then you stop working. Not to really bash cardio, you still have benefit, but this is actually when we talk about fat loss, right? This is actually what happens to our body. While strength training wise definitely better because you gain muscle. As you say, it gives you the shape, muscle gives you the shape, and you still fat loss. And one thing about strength training I want to say is growth hormone is a hormone that actually determine our hair health, our skin health, and then our teeth, our bone strength, right? Strength training actually induces the stress to our body to secrete more growth hormone. That's why if you have seen recently, we just use a real world example, more and more those celebrity, okay lah, maybe they're using Botox, whatever, don't care. But you can see mostly the celebrities are actually doing strength training, they actually look still very, very young. In fact, if you notice this day, all the celebrity in their old age still look younger compared to the celebrity last time. Like the celebrity last time, 40 years old, they start become someone grandfather in the role they play. But this day, 50 years old man still can be paired with 20 years old sweetheart. I'm like, okay, but this is actually advancement of medical also, because we find out more. We don't talk about all the drugs they're using, but because we are find out more, strength training can help with making us look younger. Like one of the fella that suddenly come to my mind is like Arnold Schwarzenegger. The fella is like he approaching his 80 already. If I didn't say he's approaching his 80, I don't think anyone think he's approaching his 80. And compare him to Donald Trump. You see, Donald Trump is like old uncle already, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is still an uncle, a very cool uncle, I would say. Still uncle, but cool uncle compared to old uncle. So this is actually the differences when you call long run.
But what is the relationship between strength training and looking young? Like what is the correlation? How does strength training make you look younger?
Growth hormone. Because when we doing something, it's actually affect our body, all our body, So strength training actually induce by training a large amount of body, right? It's actually this one. I think if I go very very scientific, I will just very honest. I give it back to my teacher already, so I can give you a quick conclusion. Okay, the training itself is actually a separate what we call that? Make our body will produce more growth hormone and to recover from it. So this is actually an extra from doing strength training. By the way, when I call strength training, right, maybe I need to reiterate that strength training is something that you use resistance to train. So it doesn't mean you have to go to gym, It doesn't mean you have to go to gym, It can be a basic squat that you do at home.
Body weight lah. That means what? Squat, push
Correct.
up.
Or even you just carrying things for a meaningful, like a weight bearing. I would just say it will be a meaningful weight bearing exercise. So it might be someone that really just doing yoga. Yoga is actually a blend of strength training plus flexibility, because you see many holding pose and all the push up. If you've seen all the yoga practitioners, they are freaking good in push up, handstand push up. In fact, I think most people that go into gym after 20 years still cannot do whatever they're able to do. And that's actually what we classify as strength training, because you need to hold position. So actually yoga is actually also like a blend. I would say a blend of flexibility and strength training.
Okay. I
It's
didn't
a
know
blend.
that.
So it's actually works synergistically. Until recently, many yoga practitioners they actually very very what we call that not receptive to doing strength training, but I can see more of them actually. They say they actually these days my client tell me I even don't know, it's called functional yoga. They actually incorporate strength training into their routine, because you cannot assume someone that cannot hold certain pose to able to do it. So they will actually use like some weight training exercise to improve and to able to do the pose. Functional yoga, something like functional yoga.
Well, that makes sense.
Call it functional yoga lah.
Yeah, because yoga actually a lot of body weight. Like those who can do headstand and handstand, they have to bear their own weight. It's not easy, man. Oh my god.
Yeah. So it's actually strength training. So maybe just how I think strength training people we talk is like it can be like if I look, it can be even like something like using all this tubing exercise. Like strength training is like weight bearing. You can even use like just a water bottle. You don't need really to go to the gym, but when we talk about strength training, sometimes people will afraid, hey, is it going to gym carry heavy? No, not necessary. When we talk about strength training, it's mean we are using a resistance apart from our to train. So it can be our body, can be external resistance like this resistance band, or just a weight like bar or weight machine, the dumbbell, or all those things.
Okay. So you said
so
that
whatever you're doing, it's actually strength training. It's a blend, just to let you know, whatever you do is a blend of strength training plus cardio, because you're doing for long. HIIT is very unique. HIIT is actually like it kind of like strength training. That's why it's high intensity eventually, but it also improve your cardio. That's why it's like so hot, like HIIT, something like that. Because the intensity is so high that you actually need to use a lot of muscle, right? You always feel muscle soreness even after HIIT. It's not just like it's like even muscle. So they will like work on different paradigm like HIIT, not just one single like. You don't really work in isolation. Most of the time, actually, our body don't work in isolation. It works synergistically. Like even if I want to say one thing, right, cardio will still make you gain muscle. You know why? You run on your both foot. So that's why you see runner all that come very big, and then your body is a resistant. So when you actually first running, right, it's still a weight training for you. Only after you adapt the biasa with the weight already, then only become you are actually don't grow. That's why you can see all those runners sometimes their calf is so big. The calf muscle is so big.
Okay. Because but even besides, if we don't talk only about running, there's many different versions of cardio as well, right? Like even Zumba is and like dance exercise is all cardio, isn't it? They're not strength training because they're maintaining that high level of cardiovascular movements for like an hour. Zumba, salsation, all that, right?
Yeah. Mostly dance will be dance. Maybe some dance, maybe choreograph, maybe it's not because all those you think. I think, but let's say if a normal dance, maybe yes, cardio because you are moving the large amount of muscle for a long period of time.
But anyway, because the dance serious dancers I know, especially those who compete at very high levels, right? They actually do strength training. They actually go to the gym and they actually work out, and that's why they all look so good. It's not purely from dance. Yeah.
Yeah, because not saying by the way, actually, while actually my background is strength conditioning specialist, just I want to mention one thing. While the strength is in front, right, conditioning means cardio. So I'm actually not biased to strength. I'm actually talking strength training is better because this is what science evidence already show us. It's like science and real life example that actually show us that this is actually better things to do for long run. Because it's, if you notice, when I say per hour, cardio is better. And this is actually sometimes a misconception people get because it's always easier to promise immediate result. Like, today I burn 1,000 calories. Hey, I go to gym, burn only 200 calories. But then in the end, in the long run, is it? So it's actually something like that. So both have both as I say, used. And in fact, right, sometimes the cardio is we also have to do cardio, especially let's say if you have someone that actually have high blood pressure, right? Not cardio, ask you to run like brisk walk is very very useful. Let's say in fact, right, for blood sugar management, diabetic management, and high blood pressure, cardio is better. Cardio is better. Strength training also can help, but cardio might be better for them. Let's say no trainer, whatever. Cardio, brisk walking, cycling is better.
Oh, okay. So actually, in the end, it means I mean, both also got benefits. It's just that whatever you're comparing now is, I would say, maybe would it be correct to say that this is more for just the average person if we're comparing strength training to cardio. So it means if you have underlying issues, it's probably best to speak to your health practitioner lah, speak to a doctor or to a coach to find out what works for them. Because if they have different conditions, then you cannot follow the regular plan, ma.
Correct. Because everyone in the end, everyone is make is what we call it is different. Let's say today let's say if you're obese, if you're very very obese, I would just say right, undertaking a brisk walk routine, 40 minutes, 20 to 40 minutes a day, one session, 3 times a week is better than 3 sessions of PT of strength training. Why? Because the strength training won't really help you to induce much changes in the calorie burn and all the small changes, other things that are going to happen. So it's actually really depend. But let's say if you are someone that, let's say, your waistline is getting bigger from long hour of sitting, and then let's say you are trying to like always feel lethargic, something like that, then maybe strength training is better. So actually cardio is always have its space. In fact, right, cardio is still a preferred method for obese management. Because the obese people normally when we talk about obese people, they are not looking to lose 10% of body weight. No, they are not looking to lose 20% of body weight. They might be looking to lose half of their body weight. Like, so it's cardio is better because if you ask them to suddenly go to the gym, it's a lot of movement they cannot do. It's like it's not like saying like the training is not good enough. Like let's say, imagine today if you're 150 kg and I ask you to do push up, I also cannot do. It's just I also cannot do. It's like and then so it only makes sense. And then in fact, right, ask them to do cardio, walking. Zyen, imagine today I ask you to. I don't know how heavy you, but imagine today I ask you to carry 70 kg behind your back and do and walk the park for 2 rounds. You think that is strength training or cardio? Combine or both already, right?
I think that will be that one I don't know, but I know I'll be dead because 70 is more than how much I weigh, man.
So that's why for like certain group of people, it still works. Cardio still works. So, but when we talk about general people, their conception about when you come right, I would just say strength training is better. But when you come to like all those special population, of course, cardio lah, because it's more friendlier to them. It's more friendly to them. Because today I assume the audience will be someone like, let's say for guy, is someone that start to see army. For girl is like try to fit the pants, the dress from the youth. Then yes, strength training is better because it's like because you still have to keep the muscle and you still have to lose the fat.
Okay. All right. So that kind of makes sense. In the end, you still have to see what works for you at that point in time, lah. Yeah. Otherwise, both kinds of exercises wouldn't exist anyway. Otherwise, only one kind of exercise.
Yeah. Like if you ask me, right? Like let's say today we use bodybuilder. Just like I say bodybuilder, right? For bodybuilder, if they want to fat loss, right, they actually have to do cardio because they get used to weight training, right? If they want to do extra work, they cannot do more weight training because they're going to injure themselves by doing too much of the same exercise. So they have to do cardio. See, they will actually go to do cardio, traditionally running only. That's the best effective way for them to fat loss already. For them, because for them, weight training is what we call regular. So they have to do something out of their comfort zone, which is cardio. But let's say for today, if you've been doing cardio and you already feel like, hey, why my weight cannot drop? Why I still look fat? Then strength training might be the answer. Strength training might be the answer because you actually hit a plateau. You can't really improve your running time. You cannot run faster or you cannot run more efficiently. Something like that is like that. It's like both is actually, as you say, both exist for their purpose. I think you also remember why actually that time I find you to do the dancing because I don't want to do normal running. I want cardio. So dancing might be a better answer for me.
So you need a balance of both.
Muscular strength. Like we talk about muscular strength, then we talk about a little bit muscular strength. Of course, strength training is better for muscular strength because specific for imposed demand. Cardio don't really improve that unless you're talking about calf muscle. But calf muscle actually don't really, except for walking, it don't really work in many things, to be honest. But it's stronger. It's the strongest muscle in our whole body. Our calf muscle can really take a lot of punishment because we have been walking since we are very, very young. So then muscular endurance. Muscular endurance is not to be confused with cardiorespiratory endurance stamina. So muscular endurance for strength training it depends how you lift the weight. Let's say you lift the weight 3 times, then of course you don't build any muscular endurance, you have to lift more than that for a certain weight. But for muscular endurance for cardio, I will say no. It may be yes a little bit in the beginning, but why I say no? Have you seen people that after they're running for a certain hour, they will say abs cramp? This actually shows they don't have the muscular endurance. Their muscle, while their heart can still going on, their muscle cannot perform the movement already, which means they lack of the muscular endurance. This is something like that. That's why cardio don't really improve.
Just backtrack on that a little bit. Yeah, because I also used to run ultra marathons, right? So I know like several ultra marathoners, and they have their endurance. They can run like 24 hours kind of thing. Is that a different kind of endurance? Ultra runners are crazy. You're a crazy bunch.
Crazy. I heard how 100 km century run. I like what century run? Century run never mind lah.
Yeah, but they are crazy. Like, but I was not that crazy lah. I only ran 50 km lah, 8 hours lah. So that one I got lah. I stopped really though, because it was too much on my body. But that's a different kind of endurance, I suppose. It's not muscular endurance.
It will be cardiovascular endurance is stamina, and then I think they also have to pandai to pace themselves. They have to pandai to keep the movement very efficient. If you see how they run, their running is the what we call it running gait is totally different with how we run because they want to minimize the usage of the muscle. They just keep going, and the mental fortitude is very, very important for that. They cannot really, if their rhythm, if you try to break the rhythm, they cannot run anymore because the body just cannot take it. But if you ask me, right, these people, if they can take the advice, always if they want really suddenly if they hit the threshold, right, weight training we help them in a way. We think it like weight training is something like you up. This is actually what I say to people like weight training and running. Like if you keep on running, it's like you are become more efficient in driving. Let's say today, but weight training is something like you don't go improve your driving skill, but you go change to a bigger car.
Okay.
But if your skill's not bad, then you still cannot. So it's always like both sides. When we come to athletic training, many people doesn't know a real runner they still need weight training to maintain the muscle because as I said earlier, you're going to lose muscle by too much running, like it or not. This is how our body build. Even weight training, if you're doing too much, right, you cannot recover properly. You're going to lose muscle. You're not going to gain muscle. If you do it wrongly, let's say today I go to gym for 3 hours every day. It won't really gain more muscle. It's going to make me cannot recover from the training, and I will actually lose muscle, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's actually really like depends but because most people I believe they won't spend 3 hours in gym unless they're working.
Unless they work at the gym lah, then they spend 3 hours at the gym. They work there.
I would just say if you're not to say because your muscle, I will just say challenge anyone if they're not book me, right? Come to my gym 3 hours, I train you for free. You can survive, I give you a medal. And then I will print screen, I say I'm sorry. Yeah, I can do that. If they can do 3 hours, but you can't.
I think that's too much because people also forget that they need the rest also. The rest and recovery is what builds muscle, not the actual action. The actual action doesn't build muscle. It's the rest and recovery.
It's a stimulus. It's a stimulus. We need to stimulate our muscle. Actually, the training is actually yes. That's how I say training, right? Why? Training, all form of physical activity, is stimulate our body system to recover to do their work. Okay. Let's say today, if you do badminton, the practice is stimulate our brain to more efficient to swing the bat and to deliver the shuttlecock to beat our opponent. If we're doing strength training, it stimulate our body muscle to be more efficient, to be stronger, to lift the weight. If you do cardio, it stimulate our body to utilize the oxygen utilize the oxygen and send all the oxygen to our muscle to more efficient. It's always stimulation. The training is always stimulation. So if you overstimulate, you get injured, you lost everything. So it's a balance. It's a balance.
Okay, come. Let's see your next slide. I know you got more things you want to share with us. Come, let's talk more
about
fat loss.
This is the last slide because I talk a lot here. Like accessibility, yeah. So cardio is very high. You know what's cardio? Because why I say it's very high, you can start today by doing brisk walk.
So accessibility here. Sorry. You elaborate. Your accessibility here means what? That means the accessibility to the program, is it?
Exercise. Yeah.
Okay,
so today you can really, if you want to do cardio, you can just you don't even need to wear a proper shoe. You just can wear slipper because that's how I do my cardio. That's how I do my cardio. I wear a slipper and freaking walk only. Because I just do brisk walk. I don't really run. I do brisk walk. Sorry if my boss knows that. But my employer, he will kill me. I always walk on the treadmill with slipper before work time.
Hey, I know many runners who run with slippers. Some runners run barefoot, okay? Like, so, yeah.
No, I mean, last time when I work in the gym, this is actually how I do before everyone enter for work. So this trainer, but luckily, he's a former boss, but you know, wow, this fella last time do like that, So accessibility is very high because you can really, today you decided to start, you can really just go and do it. Or you can just really just get a bicycle and you start to do it. But for strength training, why I say it depends, because it's actually still very easy. You can start watching a YouTube video, learn how to squat, okay? Learn how to do push-up, learn how to do a sit-up, whatever. It's still a strength training. You can actually do that. But why I say it depends, because sometimes, right, for strength training, use a lot of muscle and then involve more complicated joint, all those things. So let's say if you are someone, let me do something. Let's say you are someone that been sitting in computer for a long hour for like 10 years, never been active, right? You might actually build up a lot of what we call it, muscular imbalance. So it might be not so easy for you to just start a training program by following YouTube. So that's why I say it depends on your current station. But for running, it's higher lah. I mean, it's easier. That's why I say just now, even for risk management, I would prefer that to cardio. So accessibility, I would say strength training, it depends. It depends. It's still very high. You can start at home. Just go to YouTube, strength training for beginner. I think you will get so many info that you actually end up watching, and I actually put on the course because I think this day exercise is actually a luxury in Malaysia. Because why I say like that? A jeans cost or just a working pants might cost less than 50 ringgit Badini, but Adidas short pants is going to cost me more than 100 plus. I didn't wear Adidas, but I just say that. So cost is actually depends how you want to do it. Okay, so if you go for strength training, if you really can learn from internet, maybe you just need to get a simple dumbbell. Because I actually, while I'm a trainer, I said if you can learn it, okay lah, trainer definitely well, but it's actually, or if you hire a trainer, another story. And then cardio, I would just say also depends, because maybe you suddenly just want to brisk walk, like me, slipper or brisk walk, not going to cost you anything. But if you want to go for cycling, yeah, maybe depending on what cycle you want to buy, so cost depends. It really depends. But sometimes people they will think going to exercise is luxury. This is actually what the auntie tell me, because they say exercise is actually a luxury, because sometimes some people they just cannot have it. They just cannot have it. So I think maybe I just put it, cost depends. Like today, if you're listening, if you have never been exercised, you want to start something new, I say, well, I actually just now say cardio is like but I will just say, right, start by walking, brisk walk, 20 minutes, 1 to 3 times a week. Start by doing it. If you see improvement, you want to do more, then maybe you can think of next step. If you're always unsure, you can text this channel, you can get through me, maybe I just tell you. Because for me, I always think exercise, maybe people tell me exercise is luxury, and that's my dream, to make it accessible to everyone. That make it like something that you can get it easily. So risk of injury, I will also depends. If you today you go do cardio, you suddenly so excited, you go all out, injury lor. Like me last time, stupid. Last time, first time, I actually didn't run for a long time. The first time I run, I buy my new shoe on Friday. I run 21 km the next day, and I very action. I run in less than 2 hours.
So how bad was your injury after that?
For 1 week plus. My knee, my ankle pain for 1 week plus. And then if you rub it with massage oil, right, all the bruises come up. That's me, stupid lah. That's me, stupid lah. Want to show off, I'm actually run the 21 kl with my personal fitness level lah. Because I'm not a runner, but my personal fitness level still okay. I would just say still okay, so I can run that kind of hour without putting an hour. But it's not good. It's actually not good. It's stupid. It's stupid. So that's what I do when I'm younger lah. So for strength training again, also like it depends. So always go slow. I would just say advice, right? Always right. Going slow in fitness is always better. Unless today you are someone that's going to make a lot of money from exercising, then you go fast. Let's say today, we say you're The Rock. You need to get fit for your next movie. Yes, of course, you go fast. But today, because I think the intentional of all of us go to physical exercise, be it lost weight or gain muscle or whatever, right? It's always you want to be better from here, feel good for the body. If the exercise beaten you up, right? What's the point? What's the point of exercising when it's beaten up your life and it doesn't add value to whatever you're doing? So I say we always go slow, minimize all the risk of injury, whatever. This is what we really want from proper fitness. Fitness should be fun, and it should be sustainable, and should be improving us. I would just say, even if you don't lose weight today, but you feel good doing it, I would just say it's something. It's something. It's still something. Despite, because the world this day sometimes can be too, like to compare, wow, I lost how many kg from this program, I lost how many, or gained so much. You don't compare, because in the end, if today you're able to take one step forward, it's better than you from yesterday already. And even if today you take one step backward also, it's okay. because there's another tomorrow. I believe like sustainable fitness. I don't believe in like overnight. I don't believe like 3 months result. That's like sorry lah, bullshit lah. Because most people they actually have 6 pack from 3 months, right? Let me tell you one very serious. Very often, not even half they can maintain that afterwards. Because because you are doing something that is not really up to you. I'm not sure Vicky is watching. You see, Vicky is someone that say sustainable. You see, her 6 pack is like all year around one. Today I see her like, oi.
Yeah, Vicky, her body is to die for lah. Like I look at her like I admire her
She laugh at
strength
me
so
today,
much.
like I'm like, I like she said like so gung ho, like then she said like I'm like what we call that like tepung. I said like eat more. I said I don't.
And for those of you who are watching, you wonder who's Vicky. Vicky is a friend of Choon and I've attended her flexibility classes before. She's like she's very slim, but she's super strong, super fit. And I tell you, like some of the things she can do, right? I've never seen anyone else do it before. Her strength is like amazing, and she's strong and flexible. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see her. She do wow, like so easy. Then I try. Oh my god, I fall flat on my face.
She's strong. That's why, and then I think the baby is just I'm not sure whether she's listening, but if anyone want to know, right, she'll be doing this like for freaking long. That's why I always say, she's my idol. She say no, unless you're my idol because it's not always every day. I see someone in this field way longer than me and still doing the same, still practicing it. Because some people, to be honest, I will just say they will actually progress in life and eventually like kind of. Like I see one trainer like he actually I know him from very right, but to be honest, he right now look like a fat businessman. I will just say, he owned a very successful fitness business, but he looked like a fat businessman, and he can't run for shit. To be honest, I will just say right, he's not my idol lah. Despite he run a successful fitness business, but I will just say he looked like a fat businessman. It's not nothing too big deal, but I will just say because he didn't maintain. I don't think he lived through fitness, which is I think is very bad example lah.
Okay. I don't know. Well, I'm not a fitness business person. Sorry?
No. Because I will just he looked very bad. I will just say look very bad. It's very bad for image because you are trying to ask people to obese, but you yourself look like obese.
Coming back to what you said, I have to agree with that lah. Because when you talk about fitness, you also want something that's sustainable, right? There's no point.
Yeah, sustainable.
Yeah. Like.
But so that's why I'm actually all about okay if a trainer doesn't look as fit, doesn't look fit or whatever. But if you not living the life, because just how I say, if you notice the quote I'm putting here, if you're not living a life of exercise regularly, why you ask other people to exercise regularly? If you yourself cannot do this simple thing, because I will just say, having 6-pack all year around or having an amazing sport performance is something that not everyone can do it. I agree with that. But just by taking 20 minutes when you're actually asking people to take 20 minutes, 30 minutes to work out a week, saying it's good for your health and you cannot do it, I will actually question you again. Then why you promote it? So that's why I always say, despite how heavy, I will just say find time to exercise. I think sometimes I even like I go crazy like 9 p.m. finish last class, I die 20 minutes, do my work, then only go home. So it's like that. It's like because I will say things happen, but you don't do it for too long. Because I will just say fitness is not a competition amongst each other. It's like I will just say it's a task that we partake to enrich our life. Let's say today, if you want to go for Euro trip, this remind me of one of my client. He said he feels so happy that he can complete his Euro trip, walk here, walk there, without pain, and then carry all the luggage around. That's a win. That's what I want. Or just another client that saying, "Oh, I can hug the grandson so high, can run with them." That's a win. That's actually what fitness should be. Okay, but and not just 6-pack lah. But today when we talk about fat loss, so fitness is always I think it's something that modern living is improve our life, and it shouldn't be daunting. Even though I run the gym myself, if today you just go and do some YouTube exercise, I'm happy for you because it's a step one. It's step one already. It's step one already. In fact, I would just argue you don't need to go to gym to be fit. You don't need to go to gym to be fit. But you need to do some form of physical exercise to keep your fitness, to keep growing.
Yeah.
And my quote here, sharing screen. No amount, by the way, just to let you know, because that's why I tell Zyen I'm not going to talk about diet, so I'm not going to talk about that. But I will just say no amount of exercise can offset a crappy diet. Okay, you still need to eat a wholesome food, less processed, because this day we live in a very, very all our food is processed, industrially made, so much chemical that I don't want to go through it. So it's actually impact our health. That's why we actually, while we actually living longer, you can see we actually have more sickness. COVID already sound us that this world is sick. No amount of exercise can offset crappy diet. So today we don't talk diet, right? But crappy diet with exercise are still better than crappy diet without exercise. This is something like my conclusion. So it's always a small things that add up. Because if today I ask you to do everything, it's very hard. You start with small things, improve slowly.
I think if you want to talk about diet, we should get someone in to join us, like who's a nutritionist, someone who's actually like has a background in nutrition and diet. I think that would be great to have someone with that experience to share with us. But I totally agree with you, because you're right.
If you have money, I can try to invite. I know a Selangor nutrition officer. I can get him.
Okay.
Maybe I can get him.
Yeah. But I totally agree with what you're saying, because it's true. Because we're living in a world now where we sometimes there's no choice, right? The food that we have, no matter how healthy we try to eat, sometimes we end up eating food that's not healthy. And for some people, whether in single or in families, sometimes you just don't have the time to prepare healthy food all the time. You have to go with what's available. So sometimes you do have, unfortunately, crappy diet. But yeah, with exercise, always at least it's not as unhealthy as without.
Because to be honest, sometimes I feel sad because right, because to eat healthy is actually very costly, very costly. Like I think Malaysia is still okay. Like the reason why obviously on the rise in America is because the fast food is way cheaper than buying the groceries. It consumes less time and it's cheaper, and the people's income just can't really make them afford freshly cooked meat, freshly cooked veggie. But for Malaysia, I would just say we're still lucky because why? I would say we're still able to buy a chicken breast. Like, okay, this one, if Baker Cottage heard it, please sponsor me, thank you. You still can buy a whole roasted chicken from Baker Cottage for 11 ringgit and 90 cents. Wow, I feel so much like they are salesmen right now. Yeah, 11 ringgit 90 cents. A whole chicken, and I believe we still can buy a relatively fresh veggie under 3 ringgit and cook it ourselves in Malaysia. I will just say, of course, I know I'm not sure, but I will just say it's still for Malaysian, right? We are still lucky because for under 20 ringgit, we still can feed ourselves for the whole day. For under 20 ringgit. I mean, if you live in all those like atas KL areas, sorry lah, I don't know how to price there, but Klang still happy go lucky lah.
Klang not as expensive, okay? Klang is a bit cheaper.
Klang food is very cheap, like very, very cheap.
Sorry, PJ is expensive. but I think one of the differences also here is that, like, in our country, right, from farm to the city, right, from farm to like from seller, not seller lah, from farm to buyer, the logistics is not very expensive. That's why it's still possible for us to get fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, fresh meat at the markets. I think in America it's a bit more difficult because when the land is all spread out, right, it's not easy for them to get the fresh food, especially in the city. So maybe that's why it's more expensive. And then commercialization, as we know, the fast food companies will always try to increase their market share. So they're willing to drop price by using crappy materials, and then people will buy that because it's cheaper.
Yeah, this is actually something right now. That's actually it's an ended rat race. As just said, we need to have more awareness. We're quite lucky we still can, because you know why? No, as long as we can still complain McD is very expensive and KFC is very expensive. Actually, we are lucky, right?
I don't even know how much it costs anymore. I haven't eaten McDonald's and KFC for a very long time.
KFC in the stacker box costs 19 ringgit 90 cents. Yeah, stacker box.
Expensive. I don't want to spend that money lah.
You get a single burger, double stack, and then with the chicken breast and with the fries and with the soft drink. Yeah, obviously that's my favorite. I can even memorize the price and description. So it's like Malaysian, we are still lucky, and then that's why we are lucky in the sense that our food is really cheap, as you say lah. Like when I read all sometimes diet book from American, like you see like frozen food for them is like norms. For us it's like frozen. That all we want fresh. Oh, say.
Because we can get it fresh. So why would you want to get frozen when you can get it fresh?
That's why like sometimes I say people think Malaysia is bad. I say if you think back, right, we are actually living like rich man. No? Like all those are luxury for them. For us like everyday living.
True. Okay, this is the last slide. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us, Chuni?
I don't think so. But if anyone is still with us, right, maybe just let us know the feedback of it. And hopefully, whatever I shared today is useful for you. Okay, maybe a good conclusion. So, in the end of the day, cardio or fat loss, which one is better? Then we just say, right, if today you never been exercised, right, start with either one that you feel is easier for you to enter. Okay, don't sweat over with all my point yet. Even though actually whatever I point out through, start exercising is better. Then after that, let's say if you have been doing fat loss, cardio for forever, and then didn't see improvement, maybe it's time for you to start to strength training, and then maybe just try to improve yourself. And for those people that are all about strength training, hey man, think about your heart health. Go do some walking also. Something like that. Like keep an open mind. Fitness is something very, very new. This is a phrase that I forget. I only remind because yesterday I opened up my textbook for today's slide, even though it doesn't look like I take on from textbook. It's only until 1980s, physical education becomes sports science, which whatever I'm actually. So it's used to be just like we have hardly many researchers going through about fitness, how fitness impact our life. So it's something very, very new. It's still something very new because last time before the 80s, it's after World War II, people is suffering to find food. Like walao, exercise sorry, I use Cantonese. So, but this day you can see after 20 and 10, you can see all the fitness first up because it's actually people this day the disposable income is higher, and then also people is actually more concerned about their health. So fitness is so you can use it to improve your health, but don't sweat about just focus on one. Just do what you feel better and try to improve slowly. Because in the end, it's your life. You want to make your life better. You go through one by one. Today, I just merely point out the differences between strength training and cardio impact. In the end, the choice is still yours because you can do crappy strength training and a good cardio. If you do a crappy strength training and good cardio, the cardio is going to outweigh the strength training, right? It's something like that.
Okay. Wow, you sound so diplomatic. I'm just going to say my takeaway from this is that if you're looking for something fast, then cardio is one way to get to fast weight loss. But if you're looking for
that's actually a unique selling point. Because for me it's always sustainable. Because one thing about me, I dare to say until today, I can text because this is what happened. I've seen from other people. I can still tag my first PT client and then crack a joke. I see some of the trainer they can't do it. They can't do it, unfortunately. Which I think this means you are not really doing your job. Yeah. Because when I call personal trainer, I say it's all about personal relationship too. So I look at my job is like everlasting.
Yeah, well, in the end, it comes down to what the person also. Yeah, we have to tailor for the person. Like for me, I've done both. I've done pure cardio only. I've also done pure strength before only. Like, and then I found that for me, pure cardio doesn't work. I need strength. And then I will share a bit of my story also lah. Like, you know, because I also my fitness has been on and off. Then this year only I started getting my fitness back on track, right? And I wasn't obese. I was just slightly overweight at the beginning of the year because of MCO lah, you know, stuck at home and all that. Then I'm like, okay, finally lah, push myself to start working out. The numbers on the scale, I still look at the scale. The numbers didn't drop, never dropped. From the time I started exercising until now, my numbers have never dropped. But but my fitness is so much better now. Like my clothes are looser, and I find that yeah, okay, I climb stairs, I don't huff and puff anymore. And the health also better. I found that if I did when I used to do ultra marathons, right? Oh, my health was very bad. Every week I fall sick, like always get some flu, cold, like you know, sniffling and all that. But if I do strength training, I don't have that problem. I don't get that.
It's a suppressing immune system because
Oh.
actually ultra marathon, I will just say right, because when we talk about sport performance, I said straight away, sport performance, right, when we talk about athletes, right, it's not about healthy already. That's also something that maybe we can talk in a way
In
like
future.
whatever we see in IG, YouTube, they are not healthy. They are not healthy. Like my coach, right? Like recently I hired a coach, right? He is a Malaysian record weightlifter, and yeah, he has so much injury, but that's a sacrifice he make to make our country proud. By the way, he won gold medal in Southeast Asia Games, something like that, and he hold the Malaysian record. But you see, that's the price that he have to pay. That's the price he have to pay.
I think, I mean, yeah, that's because that's part of their, unfortunately, it's part of their career. Those of us who, where it's not our career, right, then we better strike the middle ground lah. Don't
We still
push
can play
ourselves.
around, right? You can still play around, like we down regulate whenever we feel good. Like for him, or Zyen, and he really go all the way. Like,
yeah, actually the things they have to do just to get there, actually they really punish their bodies. Even the marathoners, they punish their bodies like crazy. Those who run for the countries and all that, or run for their career to earn, like some people join marathons to get the prize money because that's their livelihood. And the torture they put their bodies to go, you know, through, right, is actually wow.
yeah, like the bench presser. I mean, if anyone watching Paralympic here, I maybe it's just a story. I hopefully they don't mind if I share it out. Like the Paralympic, the silver medalist, right? We see he get a silver medal. He get a silver medal. We're happy for him. But actually, I heard from behind, right? He actually recuperating from the loss of a very important family members, and there's still, despite that, he has still to beaten himself up to participate to represent the country and win a silver medal. That's actually the extent of whatever we see for athletes. They are so disciplined and so strong. But in the end, you see, they also sacrifice their own, like for that, I would say mental health. Because it's so crazy that you lost someone that you're very dear to you, and you still have to go to Tokyo, compete. And then after that, if you win silver medal, some people will be happy for you. Some people will say, hey, why silver only?
Oh, okay.
I didn't read any nasty comment for this fella, luckily. If I read the Nazi moment, I will sure grill that fella one.
Come on lah, yeah lah, silver. Yeah, silver is already amazing, man. Come on.
No, in case anyone doesn't know, right, every Olympic participant mean one thing, no. They are most probably not just the strongest in their country, but they are also one of the best in the region. Southeast Asia, something like that. So never belittle anyone that able to enter international stage for athletic performance. I would say because why? We and them are so like that. Yeah, you can't even see my okay. We are not in the same league.
Can't even see, right?
So I would just say always respect other disciplines. Yeah, I can't even see like
yeah.
Because I train with pure athletes before. I know like despite I look so strong in YouTube. Facebook, people thought I'm strong, layman ma. But when I go with athletes, I feel like, oh wow, I'm like 100 years away.
Okay, well, yeah, but I think today was really educational. Let's just check in with our viewers. Does anyone have any questions? Doesn't look like there's any questions on the chat at the moment, but Never mind. If any of you have any questions, even if you're watching this after the live stream, no problem. Just drop them in the comments, and then we'll be happy to like maybe like answer some of the questions in future dialogues. Okay, I think that
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, I think that's great. I think Chuni, you really shared a lot of very good information in the future. But I think in the future, I think we would love to see some of the sources. Like maybe next time you could just put in like where you got this the numbers from. You know, like what is the where's the proof? Show us the proof in the pudding. So at least we know you didn't like pluck from air one.
That's like textbook. Yeah, sometimes like, usually when I look, I say, well, that is like true. That I will feel some stress. But okay,
Yeah, so at least we know that
exercise physiology.
it's like genuine.
This is actually a topic like something we learn like how exercise affect our body, like health, whatever.
Okay, yeah, let us know lah. So at least we know this one you didn't like pluck numbers from anywhere. One like I know some debaters do some. Last time I was in debate competitions.
But I lazy lah. Just but I don't even. To be honest, I don't even modify the sentence inside because I just pluck. But it's real, something like that. Because I say I don't need to change because I'm going to present anyway. So I just use some of the fact inside. Like that's why if you ask me why I say what I'm saying right now is because of research being shown that this is actually how the body moves. And of course, research is always evolving, but some of the things is almost always the same. To be honest, maybe 10 years later, I will be saying the different things because some of the knowledge already changes. Some haven't changed. Fortunately, for fat loss, it don't really change a lot throughout the year. Actually, it doesn't change much. Just that you can see the changes because many people sometimes they face psychology. They want to play like those like so-called value. They want to so-called value punya company. They want to sell you, upsell you, some kind of thing. They will come with their own research. But if you go to their sources, you find they're lying. That's the best part.
Yeah, or they cherry pick their data lah, cherry picking, or
Cherry
they call it.
It's very easy to cherry pick data.
There's some also where it's I forgot what's the term. They where the test also right. They only select
selective bias.
Selected bias. Yeah, they
confirmative bias.
And or whatever results they got also they will interpret in a way that supports them instead of the data.
Because
the data.
Because like it or not, their grant is by a private company.
Yeah.
That's why I say sometimes if you read research also, you have to be careful because you need to know like keto diet. I will just say a very quick one. Keto diet is actually all the data is being manipulated because there's a lot of companies selling keto products. They say it's still not the craze in Malaysia. It's a craze in US. They just freaking blend the sugar and then come take our product.
Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about keto diet another day because that's not the topic for today. Probably should get the nutritionist in to talk more so that at least we know it's from someone who really knows their stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I think that one nutritionist is better. I don't want to talk that so much because for my point of view, I would just say right, for me, my nutrition is always about sport performance. And that's why I say for sport performance and fat loss, I might be better than a normal nutritionist. But if you don't ask me about elderly nutrition, you don't ask me about kid nutrition, I know nothing about that. I know nothing. I know zero. Nada. I know nothing. Zero. Nada. My nutrition is only really how to eat to fat loss.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about it another day lah. So thank you everyone thank you to those who have tuned in for our dialogue tonight, and also thank you to those who are watching this after the dialogue for watching the whole hour and a half. Thank you so much, Chun Yi, for sharing your amazing information and facts and numbers. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Actually, don't show number. That's good. Point.
Yeah. Okay. You can. Okay. Stop sharing. Okay. I'm gonna stop the live stream now. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't have Monday flu. Remember do Monday workout.
Okay, I'm gonna end it now.